I wasn't there for obviously the R6 video, but I was reading a lot of the comments and they were like, why didn't you guys call Heavy D to come haul it out? And, you know, I obviously knew that you guys did try talking to Heavy D and he did respond. He was like down to do it. But what was the whole ordeal? He was down to come helicopter the R6.
Let me add some context to this. We had an R6 with a snow bike on it. We brought it 12 miles into the backcountry, into the mountains, went over like probably 5 really, really steep hills, like up and down, up and down. We knew after it blew up, getting it out of there would have been like a full day ordeal.
Like it was.
If we could do it. And so I was just immediately trying to find helicopters in the area to do it. I hit up one guy and he was like, yeah, I have like the helicopter, but I have to like fit it in my schedule. And I was like, well, bro, I leave in 2 days. Like I don't really have time. And the weather is like so gnarly in the mountains. It could be bluebird down low and blizzarding up top. So you never know that. And helicopter pilots do not fuck around with the weather, obviously, because it's extremely dangerous to fly a helicopter in winds like that. So anyway, I hit up a couple different people. Both of them basically told me no. And then I hit up Heavy D and I was like, hey, dude, here's the issue. Here's where it's at. Do you think that you could come in with one of your helicopters, the Black Hawk, more specifically? That'd be so badass. Mm-hmm. You can make a video bid on it or a full video. We'll put you in the video and obviously like work something out. You know, if he was like, yeah, but it's going to be like this much in fuel, I would be like, right. We'll take care of that. No problem. But anyway, I figured he would be down for it because he does all these recovery videos. So he responds and he was like, dude, I'm so down. I'm waiting to hear if I can get the license to pick stuff up with the helicopter because it's specific to each helicopter and I'm waiting on my Black Hawk license. So he was like, I'll call tomorrow, see if they can push it through. If not, like I can't really do much for you. And yeah, it must not have worked, but that would have been obviously so best case Ontario for
been cool, dude.
Him coming in with a Black Hawk 1, but 2, us not having to drag this thing 12 miles out of the backcountry. Like it sucked.
And
it's hard to show on video how much it sucked, but like we're not acclimated to that elevation. So like even just walking from me to Ryan through the deep snow, you feel it, bro. When you're at 10,000 feet like that,
feet, I think.
And then 2, this thing was 600 pounds.
Yeah.
Like and there was no good way to pull it. If a snowmobile were to break in the backcountry, it's sitting on 2 skis and a track and you just get the track to slide and you're good, right? Yeah. But this one was like it would tip over. We tried every which way of like a toboggan underneath, the whole thing in there, the whole thing upside down. And there was just like no good way to pull it.
Right.
It was gnarly though.
It took how many of us? Like 10 of us, 9 of us, plus the 3 guys that stopped and helped, 7 hours to get that thing out.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. Like the podcast that my dad was on, he said when you're in need, the right people show up.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, Jay and Blaine just being there was like having the right people there.
Yeah, those dudes, I haven't met them, but they seem like such beauties.
Oh, they're the best, bro. They're the best. And Blaine is a full-on cowboy. Like he's a ranch hand at a ranch. Like the dude ain't afraid to work, you know? And he was out. He did most of the work for us. Shout out Blaine.
Hell of a rider too.
Hell of a rider, but he was like on his knees, freaking no gloves on, tying knots. Like
was it?
He had to have done it like 50 times. Yeah, it was windy. Like when you're at the top of the
cold, like colder in here or warmer.
It was probably like 20 degrees. But when you're at the top of the mountain and it's just so windy, it just sucks.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you
the right guys there,
and then when we got it down this hill, which was just a pain in itself getting it down a hill. And then 4 guys came in that were like going into the backcountry to go snowboarding. And they were like, hey, what's going on? One of them ended up being our buddy Baker that we'd met at a trip prior. Yeah. And he pulled out his drone, documented the whole thing on his drone. So we got all that footage. Shout out Baker for that. It was amazing. And then his other buddy was like, he was there pulling the R6 up the mountain with us. It would have been a total pain to do without just like one more guy's help. Like it's truly crazy how when you're in desperate times, the right people show up. Mm-hmm. It was good for the content, but yeah, bro.
It was like one of the hardest things I've probably ever done. You know, like it's not, and it's a little bit mental too. I remember when we were like pulling it down this huge hill, and it's supposed to go straight down the path. It's super huge hill, the one Evan drove the R6 up, and it starts going the wrong way into like no man's land, and it's getting dark. And I was like, dude, this is bad. What do we do? Do we still keep trying and just into the night? And that's exactly what we did. It was pitch black when we got back.
I don't think the video probably did it justice.
No, and
just
like
from like the dragging it back, because like I know how it probably looked, and especially like hearing you guys talk about it, it almost looked easier, but it clearly wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, we literally at the top of the 2 hills, we would get the snowmobile up as far as it could go before they would get stuck, and then we literally tied ropes to it, and like the 10 of us just dragged it up the hill a few hundred feet. It was a deuce. The importance of a team, couldn't do that alone if you were out there with like just a couple guys.
To leave it.
No way.
Yeah, and so many people were like, why'd you guys go in that far? And honestly, looking back at it,
just having too good of a time.
No idea why we did it.
Just
Besides
thought you were
gonna
ride it out.
We were just so confident in it. We were like, this thing's working great.
It was just ripping. We were all ripping. It was the first day, and so we went back 12 miles.
And there was also a lot of comments saying like, why didn't you guys just pull the spark plugs and unhydrolock it? And I guess looking back, knowing how much work it was to get it out of there would have definitely been worth the, couple hours it would have taken. But we were like so unconfident in our ability to wrench on that thing out in the middle of the mountains, having all the right equipment, being freezing, snowing, all these different things. We were like, that's going to take 5 hours in itself. Let's just spend 7 hours and just drag it out, and it's going to be a for sure thing.
Yeah, mostly just because we had one day to get it out somehow, some way. Helicopter would have been better. Obviously easier on us, way cooler, and we wouldn't have almost totaled out R6.
Yeah. So I guess the reason that, long story short, Evan got so fucked up at the bar that night is because we were like, after that, everyone's just dripping in sweat. We finally got it back. We were like, open bar tab on us tonight, boys. We truly deserve it. Evan's like, yes, yes.
Evan was getting his drinks paid for anyways. What's he happy about?
No, he was just like, just an excuse to celebrate.
Yeah. What was the bar tab?
Like $5.50.
Oh.
With dinner.
Yeah.
So
That's actually really not as bad.
For probably like 12 people.
That's really good, yeah.
Yeah. But the other guys, the snowboard guys, came. We were like, hey, you guys are coming. We're getting your drinks. Yeah, no, it was a good time. It was just like, dude, the mountains are gnarly, especially being from the Midwest. We don't have to deal with those kind of problems. And like when you go out on the hill, you don't have to think about so many different things that you do when you're in the mountains. And
it's also obviously very dangerous out there.
Very dangerous,
which we've known for a long time.
Yeah.